And now the lady say, I think I like that. Welcome, Porcelan, to Champagne and Conversations. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Girl, you're the first one that has like jam with me when the music comes on. I love it.
Really? I love that song.
I love it, right?
Yeah, I love that song.
Yes, and we'll make sure we get you your bottle of champagne just because we got into the process and then get that over to you. So we will get you that so that we can cheers. Obviously, we can't do it at this moment, but I'll cheers to you anyway.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us. We're so excited to talk to you. And, it's the timing is always amazing as it relates to just what we're doing and you coming off of your new album, or celebrating your new album, Mood Ring, which I love. So congratulations for that. And I just want to get some of the vibe from what your inspiration was for the Mood Ring and the people that you've worked with, which are so, so amazing.
My inspiration for Mood Ring, it was so many things that kind of came into play in that moment. Like I wanted to put something together that signified who I was as an individual, as an artist. And in this business, I'm not gonna lie, like women get boxed in so much. Like Mood Ring was just something that I wanted to say, well, hey, I can be here, I can do this, I can have this look, I can have this sound, I can feel like this, and I can still be the same person. There's so many different moods and so many different emotions we feel every day. You don't just, I wanted to kind of take people through like a journey and an experience, like in relationships, in life, and just, give them different genres, different styles inside of one project, but it still signifies like who I am as a person. So Mood Ring, I'm so many different colors. Like I changed my style so much. People are always like, every time I see you, you look so different. So I incorporated that in. I said, wow, it not only symbolizes my music and my sound and what I'm going for from a vision perspective, but me as a person. So right. Mood just kind of gelled everything together. And it ended up coming out phenomenal. I'm so proud of it.
Yes, congratulations on it. And of course, my favorite, which if you looked at my post, Toxic, I probably posted it more times than not, but that too is for my love of Stevie Wonder. So we will make certain that we find out from you how that came about, and just the experience of working with just such a legendary being.
Definitely. I sometimes I can't even believe it. Like I say it to people and they're like, oh, it's just Stevie Wonder. And I'm like, yeah, they're like, because they say I say it so like, I guess regular, but that's not really how I'm saying it. It's just like, oh, I have this person on my project and it was just so great. And they're like, and it's kind of, I'm so comfortable because we're friends. So it's kind of like with us being friends and him mentoring me on so many different things, it's kind of like, oh, Stevie calling me,
Girl, oh my gosh, I just love him. And I had told a friend that I had an opportunity to speak to him, see him. One time I was like in California and he was actually doing some shopping or what have you. And, we spoke and that, but just the vibe, the energy, the spirit, and the fact that on your song, he's not even singing, he's playing the harmonica, and the presence of is just so amazing. I was just like, this is beautiful.
I said, you got to do, I said, don't play the piano. I'm like, you got to do the harmonica because it's so unusual, like for R&B to, I guess, marry that type of vibe. It's
right.
On an R&B song, who would have thought of that? So it's like something different,
Absolutely. And what do you call that? I mean, is it more of like an island vibe? Is that what you're going for with that?
Okay. Yeah, with Toxic, it was pretty much, I had a producer who was from Africa and he had an amazing sound because I loved the track because it had an R&B element to it. And then it had an element to it. And Afro beats, I love Afro beats music. And Stevie is such a fan of like the culture and just the whole, just their whole vibe, you know, their whole energy, their music, the rhythmic side. And he was already interested. Like I was just sending him music to like listen to. It was never like something I thought that was gonna happen, or I was gonna ask him, this is the song I want you on. I was just sending him music and he was listening to my mixes and just checking out the vibes and kind of listening to the direction of what I was going for. And he was like, that song you sent me, that he was like, what's it called? I said Toxic. He was like, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna do a part to that one. It has a break in it. Cause we talked about him jumping on one song, but I didn't want to pick for him. Right. I just want to listen to it and feel passionate about it. And he picked the song. I said, you sure you want to do that? I said, you're like a lover and everything. It's like Toxic. It's called, he was like, I'm gonna get on it. And he was like talking about the break in it and the rhythmic thing. He literally, I gave it to him a week earlier. He literally did it in a week and sent it back as like a surprise. And I was so happy.
Oh my gosh. I know. I'm so happy for you. And it's done. But I'm like, that is beautiful. That is beautiful that you didn't have to ask him and he just picked the song. And you know that, I mean, when we talk about really having people in your circle and having the friends around you to really elevate you, that is the epitome of that. And so what a blessing that you have. I mean, amazing folks like that. You almost think like, okay, well, how many friends do I need after that? Because that is just
you know, because I really, when I get to know people and build relationships with people, I don't do it for just the sake of wanting something. I think that we connected 3 years ago because I opened for him. He came to Memphis, and the guy that I'm signed to, David Porter, we basically
another amazing person.
Yeah, like it was all around me.
I'm so jealous.
I'm like, you know, it was like we ended up doing a show. It was a David Porter and Friends show, and I opened for him. It's like we said like 2 words to each other. Or like I was just, I'm so happy to be performing with you. I grew up listening to your music. It's an honor. Right. I'm so fortunate to be sharing a stage with you. And he literally said, "What's your name?" And I was like, "My name is Porcelan." And he was like, he grabbed my hand and he was like, "Okay, it's great meeting you too." And it's like you said, the energy. And then next thing I know, I'm getting dressed, getting ready for the show. And David calls me and he's like, "Stevie wants to do a song with you. Do you know Shaka Khan? Tell me something good." I'm like, "I don't know." He was like, "Well, you got an hour to learn it." And I was
that night you had to do it?
Yes, that night. You talking about the pressure. When it's time, the thing about it is I felt like my survival instinct kind of kicked in, because it's like I had done gigs before. So I was gigging. I had a band prior to signing. So a lot of the music, like we would have to learn on the spot, was, you know, Shaka Khan.
The covers and such. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm so happy I have that experience in that piece, because if I wouldn't have, my memory wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have made it. Like I had to learn a verse, and I'm like, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, just follow Stevie. You're gonna be fine. Just follow Stevie." I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I don't have time to think about it. You just gotta hit the stage. And I just hit the stage and we just vibed out. I knew my part, and it's so crazy because he didn't even know his part. So I was like,
you were more prepared. Awesome.
More prepared. And but it's like, it's Stevie. Like, people gonna rock out. He can mumble on a
he can sit there. Yes.
I'm in trouble. But you know, if he messes up, it's like he's already put in the work. So
right. That's like, right. And I've never seen a performance that's not amazing, you know, whether it's just something live he's doing or, you know, for an event like an award show. I mean, never does it not seem perfected. So
Right.
I don't know that that would even been something people picked up on. But part of that obviously comes from you and your experience. You have been in the industry since you were 10. And
Right.
so, yeah. Now, were you on any of the, kind of talent show type of, music shows? Have you been on any of those?
I haven't. I did something with BET years ago. I cannot remember what it was, but I did a couple of contests, but I never did any of those talent
Yeah.
shows.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't do
But you
it.
were compared early on, which I do see the resemblance. So forgive me if this isn't something you want to be compared to, but I see a little of the Monica. I know, and they compared you to her. But listen, your voice is beautiful. And obviously over the course of the different, your music, the tracks that you have, you show different parts of it. So I was listening to you very early on, and that experience gave us that kind of Monica vibe. So
Yeah, I've been getting compared to Monica my entire life. If it's
yeah,
not Monica, it's Carrie Hilson. It's Carrie Hilson and Monica mixed up together.
yeah.
It's I don't.
But you're
That's
porcelain.
no matter how many times I change my hair, I literally always get compared. I'm like, I'm gonna change. It's my hair. It's my hair. I'm like, no, I probably favor her.
It's the voice and just the style. I mean, obviously, you all have the same kind of frame, you have the same kind of edginess, and you can go from, one extreme to the other. So it's a little bit more
Well, that's good. That's good.
in that, I would say. And how did the name Porcelain come? Where did you get that? Speaking of which, you just showed us a picture of it. Now that really explained it.
From my parents. It's my real name.
Okay.
Or they toured overseas, and Porcelain was my mom's stage name for my dad, their band. And they had a baby, and they decided to name me my mom's stage name. So that's how I ended up
The
being named.
reason for the season.
Right. I'm so
Thank-
happy. My mom all the time. I'm so happy because I did not have to change my name, make up anything. I was like, well, what is my artist name gonna be? I'm like, oh, your name is Porcelain. You can always go with that.
Well, there we go. And so very organic. So that makes it really special as well. You don't have to kind of move into anything. You have grown to that name. So it's part of you. And obviously, your family is very supportive of what you're doing in the music space. So that's awesome. You also have another great that I wanted to ask you about. And trust, I researched and researched trying to figure it out, but it just didn't say enough. But our super producer, Timbaland. Did you work with him on anything specific, or was it just conversations on things?
We worked on something. It unfortunately it didn't come out.
Okay.
Because he was in a space where he was creating his sound, his new sound. Artists do so much music before they decide what's going to be put out and what's not going to be put out. It
Yeah.
was like hundreds of songs probably being done during that time, but I actually got a chance to meet him. I met him in 2010 actually,
Okay.
and I performed on stage. He called. I did 106 in Park, which is the most legendary show. That was music video show.
Right.
But I ended up going on there and I did the Wild Out Wednesday. He called once I left the stage, and it ended up being probably 2 months later. I flew out there. I got the experience to meet Missy Elliott and so many people because they were just recording in the studio. So it's just so funny because you walk it by and it's like, oh, there's Missy and Elliott. What?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing because I got to see, that was my first time. I feel like that was my first real intro into the industry because I got to see how things worked and how everybody moved in that space. Like it's an all day, sleep all day, stay up all night type thing. Like, and I learned that there, and we worked on a song, and it was just a great overall great experience. And I've actually had the opportunity to see him a couple times since I've been in my music space, but it's just been kind of like us running into each other and him saying he's proud of me and that I continue growing and continue moving forward. We did work on something, but it was more so an experience for me. And to know that wherever I go and whenever he sees me again, he's gonna be like, there she go. So that's good. You know, I couldn't, after I had that experience, I had to continue grinding. That was just like a motivation in that space, because the thing about music is it's like, no matter how many people you meet, there's still the work that you have to put in yourself.
Absolutely.
There's still a level of growth, you know, that people see. They're like, okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on her. I'm gonna watch, you know, I'm gonna see where she goes, because you never know what may unfold. You might end up doing the biggest collaboration when you get to a certain point, and it might change forever because they've been watching you the entire time. So you just never know. That's why it's good to keep moving, because I'm like, I know y'all see me. So as long as I'm working and pushing forward, I know that I'm going in the right direction. So
that's it. That the positivity is what it takes, and obviously to focus, and not to leave out Mr. David Porter. We definitely have to touch on your experiences, your connection, and the music that you've done, obviously with David Porter, because that's phenomenal as well. So you know, what was that experience like, just meeting him and starting to work with him?
It was really organic. I've been working in my city for a while, doing my thing, and
you're in Tennessee, and you're in Memphis.
Yeah, in Memphis.
Okay.
And heard about me, and this was about when I met him. It was about 2016, and he heard about me, and I got this weird call saying that somebody wanted to work with me, and it was going to change my life, and you know,
okay.
You know,
let's go.
Oh, I've been grinding. So what this is about.
Right.
I ended up meeting with him. They told me about it. I did my research and stuff, and I had heard so much about him. But I did my research myself, because you should always do your own research. And I said, okay, great. I don't mind meeting him. This could be really, really good. And you want to do stuff. You always want to do stuff in the place you live, where you're from, creating opportunities for people around you. So that was my thing. I'm like, okay, great. He's reaching back down to help other young artists. This could be a really good. So we ended up doing a meeting. And it went great. It happened. I promise you, it's such a blur because it happened so fast. Like, he was like, okay, all right, you know, I like her look. Yeah. And, you know, I heard a lot about you. He told me what type of operation they were doing there, what they wanted to bring, the motivation, how they wanted to really pull in other artists. And I said, okay, this could be good for the city. I'm in full support. So it was like building from the ground up. And, you know, I saw the vision and I just kind of went with it. And it was very, very different working with somebody from that generation. Like, it's not the easiest. I will say that, because they have a very older way of doing things. They like you got to work a lot harder. You got to, you know, but the one thing that really, 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 really helped me throughout my career is knowing that everything he said came into fruition. Everything was true. He was like, you have to learn how to do everything, because you never know when you're not going to have a team. You never know when you are going to have a team. Right. And the time where you have everything and you have everybody, and then it could be a time where you have no one. But he taught us to know how to do everything we needed to know how to do. Like, even being able to, I can honestly say my songwriting, a lot of my abilities when it comes to that and my growth in that skill, it wouldn't have progressed the way it had if I would not have got the training. And a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, write a song, you write what you feel. No, but it's an art to it. That's how you write. That's how you sell 300 million records. You don't sell 300 million records to just write what you feel all day. It is a skill you have to learn, because even when you're not in a space to write, you still have to be able to push yourself if that's your job to do it. So that experience was just, it was just great. I learned a lot. You know, I cried a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you have to push yourself, and he definitely pushed everybody beyond their limits, and it was just a great experience.
So The Real Thing, that was the first song that you all did together?
Yeah, he actually wrote that record. It was really nice, because I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get a legend to write a record for you to push you forward. Like, that's forever going to be a part of my legacy as I build my career. So that was amazing, and I love the song. So
yes, absolutely. Now, was that one of your thoughts when you started into the industry, being as though your parents had already kind of, gotten you into the music space? Were you wanting to work with legends to amplify your name, or that was just coincidence?
It was a bit of a coincidence. I did want to, because when you ask any Memphis artists, like, well, who's your favorite artist or what inspiration do you have? They always gonna say like Aretha Franklin or somebody like that, because that's what we grew up around. That's what we grew up living.
Right.
Like, I felt like, dang, one day this is gonna happen for me. But I didn't know I was gonna be able to reach Stevie Wonder that freaking fast. Like, you never know where life is gonna take you. So I had dreams of it as a kid, but I didn't think it was gonna happen no time soon. You think like, okay, I get to that level when I got a couple platinums and we doing the tribute. You thinking like, okay, maybe then when we get to that point. But I was never expecting it to happen so quickly.
Well, blessings. Right. You just never ever know. Now, did you start Mood Ring in the pandemic, or had that already began before we went into it, which was like March of last year?
I started Mood Ring, but I was kind of stalling on it because I didn't really know. I was like, well, I don't want to set out to create an album and say I'm creating an album. I didn't want to say, okay, I'm about to create a project. I wanted to kind of flow, and I was figuring out who I was and who I wanted to be, and what type of message am I trying to give people? Like, what am I trying to show people about me? So I just asked myself all of these questions, or something my friend calls like the 5 whys. Why, why, where, how, why, so many things, until I got to the point where I said, okay, well, I feel good about the direction. Maybe I can take people on a journey, and I started on it, but I'm gonna say after Act Out, it started kind of coming together. Because I said, in it, I like this sound. This a vibe, and everything. I just kind of focused on just writing records, and then I realized, dang, these records are really like going together, like they work with each other. And then it's kind of like I got into like 5 songs, and I said, okay, I think we create an album now. And then the pandemic, I'm like, I'm not done. I'm not even done. And I had to write in my house. I did not want to work with Stevie from my house, but because it would have been so much more amazing to be able to be there and share that space. But we kind of had to write over email and write over the phone and write over voice memos, and that's how it was created. So much of that project I had to do like isolated, but it ended up coming out really, really great. So I'm happy it happened.
Yeah. And you all will be able to perform live at some point. So then you'll have the opportunity to share that energy and be able to get what it is that you want. Probably add even more to that. So that'll be exciting. Yes. What's your favorite off of Mood Ring?
My favorite off of Mood Ring, I gotta say, is Switch Up. I love Switch Up because it was
too. That's my next favorite.
You like it? I love
that's my next favorite.
I feel like that's like it gives me, when I did the song, I wanted something that gave me like old school 90s kind of elements to it. It still
Yeah.
had freshness.
Yeah.
And the beat has such a reminiscent kind of vibe, like you're reminiscing
Yeah.
and it's summer breeze. And when I started writing, it just kind of flowed and came together. And I really believe in the message because I was actually going through that at the moment when I was
Okay.
writing the song. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? Every woman, every female can relate to somebody switching up, it being good. I
Indeed.
always a problem. Why I can't never be right? You know, why
Right.
can't you show your feelings or reciprocate? You know, and men have an issue with reciprocating feelings sometimes. They're not
Right.
as women are. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write this song for the ladies. I'm gonna write this song for women because I know we all go through this. We all feel the same way. So that's just one song I feel like people connect with
Yes,
because
it was
it happens
good.
to everybody.
Yes, that one and my other favorite was movies.
You know what? I was gonna say movies. I said, you know, I'm like, with y'all.
Yes,
But
it's
I like
it's
movies.
the blonde that we're connecting this way. That's what that is.
Yeah, because we on the same way with movies
Yeah.
and switch. I love those records.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you, I guess, if you were to share your innermost, self, who would you say that you're really targeting in terms of the vibe, the way that you want to express yourself, especially like when you're going to be touring and you want to connect with other talent that'll be on a tour? What would you, kind of classify yourself as?
That's a good question because I don't even. I feel like I'm such a mix between people, like in vibe. I honestly feel like if I did a tour, I would want to open up for like I like her. I like her. She's got a
So,
vibe.
yeah.
Her.
So,
It's just great music and substance. And that's really, really cool. But then I have like from an urban slant, I really like I enjoy Kehlani's vibe. She got a little sauce about her that I really like. And she does like I always when I talk to people, I always say she's like the female Chris Brown because
huh?
that's reminds me of more her music is kind of geared to. I love Ari Lennox. I feel like Ari Lennox is a good.
Ari, she's great. I actually know her family, so I feel like the auntie when I follow her and I'm watching what she's doing. I'm like, I feel like I like her, but I'm like, I feel like go Ari, just do what you do. But yeah, I know her
Yeah,
family, so
and she does her thing. Um, she's just real. So it's like the
very real. Yes,
yeah,
very real.
she's real. So I like
Yes.
and substance the because I feel like her has just got a vibe to where she's soulful, but she's still like current, like fresh. It's not like an
Very
old.
current.
She got her own like just sauce about her, and her aura is
Right.
really cool and kind of she like you said, edge rock got that rock kind of alternative kind of feel
Yes.
with
Yes.
so
Yes.
she's like a really good. I think those three in personality are a combination of like who I am because I come off urban, some really urban sometimes on a street style. It come off really soulful sometimes, and I come off really natural, really real, really authentic. So I think I connect mostly with those three. They so different. They
That's
like
great though. That's an all girls tour waiting to happen. So,
look.
yeah,
I'm ready.
you're ready for that. And so what are your plans? I guess now that everyone is preparing to come out of this, it looks like June, July. Do you have any touring plans yet?
I don't have any touring plans as of yet, but I am releasing a new single. I do drop some vibes this year as I gear up for the new year. I'm really just rebuilding, doing some rebranding stuff that I'm super excited about. My hair is gonna be a different color, so
Again. I think on the album cover is one, but it's okay. It's okay. You can do whatever you want
the
to do from
vibe.
day to day.
I'm really happy about it's this new single. It's a little bit more on the saucier kind of side. It's a different vibe. So I'm trying to come out and give people a little bit something different. I feel like every year, like I'm definitely going to forever be a mood ring, and as I grow, I'm probably going to be mood ring. You know, just because I'm going to always kind of what's the word? Advance or like evolve.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I definitely think this next thing.
Grow. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Switch
And
it
that's
up.
what's important. That's what's important about it because, in this time we've had to pivot and we've had to change certain things that we may have anticipated at one point. And now, obviously, being able to be influenced by new artists, new things that are coming up, you just have to change.
Yep.
That's the way that you can flow and obviously get the best opportunities. And just in terms of what you're working on, I think that is amazing because you just finished the Mood Ring album and you're already talking about a new single. So you're on your way. You definitely.
Socials move so fast. Like people drop music so fast, and it's always something new coming out. And it's like now it's like everybody is like dropping music. And it's just like to give like stay engaged, stay connected with your fans, stay like so they're always in the know and they're with you as your journey goes. And like you said, as you evolve and things like that. So I'm just always trying to give my fans a new vibe to listen to.
Well, now, great that you brought that up. Okay, so we were having a conversation about the way that the 90s vibe has been, and that music was soulful. It was just kind of from the heart. It spoke from a moment, whatever the current event was or something going on in your life. You experienced it, you wrote about it, you sang about it, and then other people connected with it, right? And we're
Right.
still in the 90s living with it, even in 2021. So we're tapping back into it, which gave you an experience. And today's music is just what you said. It's fast. It's just go, 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 drop, 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 which I think that from that perspective, you lose some of the validity. You lose some of the soul. You lose some of
Yes, that's true.
the heart of what it is really supposed to do. And like for your body of work, Mood Ring, one, because you have it as Mood Ring, so it means that it's like the chameleon in you. But as it relates to just the pieces that you have so much that it's all over, even in that particular album. I mean, all of the music. So I would encourage you, obviously to step back into some of those songs and just keep promoting them, doing some
I
marketing with them, things like that. Don't
definitely.
feel like you got to be a grasshopper and get out here and do all of this, drop every 20 minutes. Don't do it. That's just me. Now, your management might say, "What is she talking about? Be quiet." We know Chris Brown, he'll drop 52 singles in like, a day. It's just
Crazy because it's like you do something and people like, you got any new music coming out? I'm like,
did you live with this? Do you understand how long it takes? I had to sit with this for a moment. Like, enjoy this. We'll get back to you. Like, don't stress me unless you sending me everything, right? Like, no, I just, because you have so many beautiful pieces there. And it may be things that just as we're talking, people may have said, oh, I didn't even listen to that song because maybe they're
right.
still on song number 2. You know what I'm saying? So don't leave them yet. That's all. That's just me. That's just the old in me. And I'm not that old, but
Probably right. Chris Brown show will drop a 45
no,
song.
you can't keep up with him. You cannot keep up. Don't even, and not to say that not eventually, but you just have a different design, and if obviously you have just such amazing, legendary, collabs, you want people to experience that, especially now, because we are tapping back into the 90s, the early 2000s, the 80s. I mean, some songs we were in the 70s, just, in the last couple of nights, depending on the type of clubs that you go virtually. We all over the scale in terms of, or timelines, I guess. We're all over the timeline in terms of the music that we're listening to. So I would definitely say tap into that and have, mix that in and let DJs pick up on some of your music that the legends have, assisted you with, even like your previous song, um, so that you have that experience, you know what I mean? And it kind of
Right.
helps you to grow your catalog as well as kind of growing who you are, but just, kind of nestle into who you are. And you don't have to feel like every moment you're like a Rubik's Cube. Like who can concentrate like that? Now, did you take a break in between? Have you had a break in between like the start of your career and now?
I have been taking a break. I've only technically been taking a break for about, I think it's been about a month. I think it's
Okay.
been
Okay,
a
so not too
month.
long. Okay.
No, it ain't been too long. Like
Yeah.
I'm over, oh, I gotta get back on. They're like, yeah, just chill, just relax. My friends are just relax, just chill. I'm like, I gotta go. But I think like for the last few years, I've worked nonstop. So
Okay.
it's like when I sat down, I sat all the way down. And I'm like, I'm still trying to like get up. But it's like it's important that you take that mental break, because feeling like you got to keep up with social media, feeling like you got to keep up with this, you get burnt out. It's like a million social media platforms.
Yeah.
And it's so much content, and you got to drop content every day, all day. And it's like, my life needs to be private for like a few seconds. And I need to just focus on rebuilding mentally, maybe writing some new music, expressing some new thoughts. Cause me being not just a singer writing songs, like I write music for sync. I do, so I'm still working. I'm just not socially showing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, getting in my notebook, writing my songs, putting them together, working on some television advertisement stuff and putting that together, because I'm expanding not just as a singer but as a songwriter, because there's royalties, there's stuff that's gonna income that's gonna come when I'm 60. So I'm like, hey, let me get in my bag and write more and really express my thoughts. So really that's what I've been doing, really figuring out more of what I want, more of what I want to be. Like
Right.
what does me evolving look like? What like picturing it, creating my mood boards, rebuilding my team creatively, people that connect more with me, understand my vision that I'm going for, my new vision. So it's just a lot. It's a lot. So I'm still working technically. So
And that's what it takes. And obviously, you've already put the plan together and you're moving in that space. So that's great. I would just encourage you to continue with it. We would
continue
love to.
promoting my album.
We would love to see you go live, maybe just as you're writing or talking to some of your collabs, or just coming up with ideas, things like that. It just makes people to really kind of nestle up to you and get into what you already have and let them
Right.
experience that some, and then you work from there. But at least it doesn't give you that stress that you may have felt like you got to sit on this side and just keep creating, just live in that moment for a minute. I mean, it's a beautiful body of work. And you have even music before that. One of the covers that you did, I was listening to, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was so nice. I'm trying to think. Oh, Be Careful With Me, which you were doing it of the Cardi song that she did, but you did a cover of it and you did it
Yeah.
with your jazz piece to it. And it was beautiful. And those things, if you just popped up and did those, people would, be so ever grateful and excited for, what you offer, and just spending it a little bit from what, maybe people know you as or don't know you from.
Right.
So yeah, you have amazing voice, amazing work. You're beautiful, talented. Yeah,
So
I would say just go for it. Just make certain that just continue to share that. And then, like you said, as you're just planning your next steps, your next phase, that you just take that with you, but just take it in. It's like easy
yeah, just
breeze.
take it easy. You just tell me to slow down, because I feel like everything is always moving like this.
No, you bring it to you. You don't have to go to it. Not when you're experienced already and what you're doing. You bring it to you. So you
Yeah.
kind of control the
Okay.
process. Yeah. That way
Right.
you don't have
Right.
to be so like overwhelmed with it.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. And I felt like, okay, my friends always sit down for like 2 seconds. Just sit down. And I'm like, I like to work, but rebuilding mentally and decompressing and spending time with family. And I have a son. My son is 12. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was doing that. And, he's in middle school and just really like, okay, I have to.
That's what, and happy belated Mother's Day, because I didn't have
You.
opportunity. I probably looked at your social media, didn't see you on, so I didn't think to say it. But yes, happy belated Mother's Day. And I know that I did see that you had your son very early in your career. So I'm sure that that was, definitely a process in terms of managing that. I understand, did that the same too. So I get it. And mine are older than that. So absolutely. Yes. Well, Porcelain, thank you so much for joining Champagne and Conversations. We are so excited about your new project, Mood Ring. Guys, please check it out. And before we leave, I know you may not be on social media, but please share it and then where your music can be
Yeah,
found so that everybody
I
can get it.
will. I will. I said, oh my gosh, I gotta, I gotta share. I've been doing some other stuff today. I'm like, let me get on there and share. But yeah, I'm definitely still on it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So and your social media, what would that be? And then where is your music?
My social media handles Porcelan Music. Is Porcelan Music. It's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on all social platforms. And they can find my music, find Mood Ring. It's available everywhere. Any DSP you have, there's Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, it's everywhere. So they can go check it out.
Yay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining Champagne and Conversations. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and just keep working at it. It's a beautiful body of work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. I will do. I definitely enjoyed this. I wish I would have had me some champagne.
Yes, we'll get you some. And then you'll come back when you do your your next single. We won't wait for the whole project. Well, maybe
Oh,
when you start touring, but we'll make sure we get that to you.
definitely. I can't wait.
Yes, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Porcelain Music, as we know her. And we thank you for joining us.
Thank you for